Hey guys! So in today's video, I'm working on two separate watercolor portraits, one using warm colors and one using cool colors. They were intended to be viewed as part of a series or as companion pieces, which is why they are in the same video. And I'm working in a sketchbook that I made. If you haven't seen the video I made a little while back on how to create your own sketchbook, I will leave a link to that in the description below. What I really like about making your own sketchbooks is that you can really do whatever you want with them. When I came up with the concept for these two portraits, I thought that it would look really nice in a square sketchbook. Now, I don't have any square sketchbooks that I have purchased, and I knew that I wanted these portraits to be in watercolor, so I just threw a sketchbook together. I used 140-pound watercolor paper, the same paper that I used to create my originals, and in the end, it was a joy to work in, primarily because I customized it to what I wanted. Now, jumping away from the sketchbook itself and going back to the overall concept of these two pieces, I really wanted to create two pieces that were contrasting yet complementary. The idea initially came into my head when I was brainstorming ideas for a new class over on Skillshare, since I had published the one I had been working on, and I was looking for where I wanted to go in the future. The funny thing about these two portraits is that I actually expected the cool colors to turn out better than the warm colors. My reasoning behind this was simply that I'm more familiar with working with cool colors. I tend to prefer purples and blues over reds and oranges. And so it felt natural to assume that that piece would turn out better than the one with warm tones. However, in the end, upon looking at the two separate portraits side by side, I think I actually prefer the appearance of the warm colors. Probably because they're more natural looking when it comes to a human face. I think this is a very good example of why there's a lot of value in making things, even if you're not sure they're going to turn out. If I would have allowed myself to stay inside my comfort zone and I hadn't pushed outside of that, I really only would have had one portrait that I'm not 100% thrilled with. I'm not saying that I hate it. I am saying that the colors probably could have been arranged in a manner that was better than the way they are currently. And I'm assuming what happened there was I was so comfortable with the cool colors that I didn't put as much thought into that piece as I did with the warm colors. However, as far as actually following through with the concept is concerned, I am very happy with the way the two pages look as a whole. And because it was something that sort of came to mind while I was working on these pages, I kind of want to play off of something that I said in my last video. I actually have several different ideas as to where I want to take this concept in the future. In my last video, I mentioned that a lot of the time, drawing and following through with ideas, even when you're not quite sure how they're going to turn out, will often lead to new ideas. I truly believe that actually making things is the most efficient way of coming up with ideas, which seems a little counterintuitive because it feels like, oh, if I do this really good idea I have, then I'm going to run out of ideas completely. However, in my personal experience, the only time I have ever run out of ideas, quote unquote, are times when I'm struggling to force myself to draw. Times when I have gone weeks without using a sketchbook or drawing anything, and then the ideas start to dry up. For example, with this concept, I had the idea of creating more digi-stamps for my Etsy shop with this idea of opposite/contrasting characters. I kind of like the idea of recreating these illustrations on separate pieces of paper in a larger size. And while I'm at it, probably rearranging the colors in the cool illustration with purple for the skin and blue for the background, as opposed to blue for the skin and purple for the background. I just think that it would look a lot more natural and hopefully would not feel as out of place as I feel like it does right now. And these were all ideas that I came up with while I was working on this sketchbook spread. I had not actually had those ideas before I executed these pages, and because I decided to follow through with an idea that I had, I now have more ideas to expand upon in the future. And then it just works like a chain reaction, where if I expand on these ideas that I just had, then hopefully I would generate more ideas. For me personally, I truly believe that that's one of the best ways to avoid creative block. It's just doing. So if you've had any experiences with this same thing of generating ideas while in the midst of working on other concepts, I would love to hear your stories. I hope you all enjoyed this video. It's very nice to get back into more watercolor illustrations after my little mixed media escape that I talked about previously. I still plan to continue doing things like that. Maybe not on this channel, maybe on this channel, depending on how I feel about it. But it is nice to feel like I can get back to my roots, I suppose you could say. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. So thank you all so much for watching. You can subscribe if you want, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.